Hello, and welcome to the Cryptocurrency News Channel. Today we're going to talk about my bull run cash out plan. Yes, this is that imaginary bull run that we're all waiting for. I still believe it will happen sometime along the line. I just don't know when, so I'm going to tell you how I would cash out my imaginary riches when they actually come up. So we all have a certain buy-in point, and we all know what the last all-time high is. Obviously, these are going to be coins that you actually believe in, because if it's a coin that you don't believe in, basically as soon as you start money, you cash out, right? But these are actually coins that we believe in, maybe like Bitcoin, VET, Bitcoin, XRP, Ethereum, Litecoin. Well, I don't know if I believe in Litecoin, but let's just say I did believe in Litecoin or Bitcoin Cash. How would I actually cash out these coins once it actually hits a good price? Now we know what the all-time high was for Bitcoin, XRP, Litecoin, Bitcoin. Actually, I don't really know what the all-time high was. Bitcoin Cash. I didn't really keep track of that one. But Bitcoin was like 19,500. Pretty well. Actually, it was like 19,700. That's pretty close. We're just gonna call it 20,000 because that's close enough to 20,000. XRP was like 384, so we're gonna call that $4. Litecoin was 380. We're just gonna call that 380. Ethereum, I believe, was 1,300. So we expect in the next bull run for these coins to actually surpass the last bull run numbers. So the cash out plan is actually pretty easy. First of all, it has to hit that number first, that all-time high first, before I start to cash out. But I won't sell all of it at that all-time high. So for instance, when it hits that all-time high, like $4, $380, or $20,000, I would go ahead and sell 10% of it. And then for every 25% it goes up from there, I would sell 10 more percent of it. So for instance, you hit $4, and that's not really a conservative or or an aggressive plan. If it was a conservative plan, you would sell 10% more for every other 10% it went up. So for instance, for $4, according to my plan on XRP, you would sell 10% of your XRP at $4, 10 more percent when it reaches $5, 10 more percent when it reaches $6. Now, the 25% increases are from your base all-time high value. It's not from like it's not from like the new value. Like you wouldn't be like $4, $5, and then like $5.20. It'd be $4, $5, $6, 25% increase off of the base $4. So you would sell like 10% at $4, 10% at $5, 10% at $6, 10% at $7, 10% at $8. Until you get to that last 10%. Then I would just keep the last 10% until you hit your money goal. So basically, like for XRP, you would only have 10% of your original stack. When it gets up to about 250%, about like $12, $13, you only have 10% of your original stack, which you would actually keep. And for Bitcoin, it would be up to like $60,000 before you only have 10% of your actual stack when you actually keep. For Ethereum, it would probably be close to $3,000, $4,000 before you only get 10% of your actual stack left. For Litecoin, it'd be around $800, right? And you might think, well, then I would only have 10% of my stack, for a super moon value. Let's actually think about that, because remember what happened last time when we did this, when people try to hold on large stacks forever, it dropped like a lead weight once it actually started dropping. And I can almost guarantee you the same thing's going to happen this time. These boom and bust cycles, they come very fast and then they drop very fast. So the reason I say sell 10% at each level is because you can always buy back in. And if it starts dropping sometime around those levels, which I'm almost sure, well, I don't think Bitcoin's going straight to $1 million. I don't think XRP is going straight to $50. I mean, I don't think that Ethereum is going to straight to 4,000, or if it does, it will drop back very fast once it actually hits those values. I expect the next bottom value to actually be quite a bit less than the all-time high value that we hit last time. The top value will be higher, but the bottom value, once it starts dropping, XRP will drop under $4 again. Bitcoin will drop under $20,000 again. That way, if you actually sell at every 10% level, you can always buy back in at a lesser value. Say it goes up to $6 and you sold, $8, and say XRP goes up to $8 and you sold 50% of your stack, and then it starts dropping. And then it drops back to like $2. Well, then you can take the amount of money that you sold and put it back into XRP at $2, and you'd have more than 3 times your stack once it actually stops dropping. And since last time it dropped all the way to essentially its pre-pump value right now at 24, 25 cents. It's like 29 right now. and even if you took this plan and you sold at, let's say, $1, you would almost have 4 times what you have right now, but just by holding on. So this plan, strategically, this plan is going to be better than holding on in almost every single scenario. Because remember, last time XRP basically started pumping at 25 cents, and then after a couple of months, it basically dumped back to like 30 cents. So even if you had sold at like $1.50, hell, even if you sold at 50 cents, you would be much better off than you actually would be much better off than if you just held on the entire time. For any of these coins, the utility value is not going to catch up to the actual value for several years. And I don't think I think the pump is actually going to happen before that. You can tell it's not going to be the utility value because utility value, like adoption, usually comes in several stages, several legs, and you would see the price slowly going up. If it's a sudden pump, it's not utility, it's speculation. It always is speculation for any of these coins, whether it's Bitcoin, XRP, Litecoin, Ethereum. These giant enterprises don't all flick the switch at once. They always come on in stages. Like MoneyGram, you can tell right now, they're doing 10% in Mexican peso. Maybe after a year, they'll do 20-30% of Mexican peso while opening up small parts of other corridors. They don't just do like 100% of their company at once because, companies aren't stupid like that. That has massive problems with the deployment, and they're not going to risk that, especially for big companies. Same thing for like if they're utilizing the Ethereum blockchain, if someone's using Bitcoin for payment or Litecoin for payment or even VET for payment. I honestly would not do that. So for any of these coins, for any large cap coin, let's say anything in the top 15, 20, sell 10% at its all-time high, and then for every other 25% it goes up, sell 10 more percent. And then when it dips back down, you can always do kind of like, it's not so much dollar cost averaging now, but like the amount that you sold off at each level, and if it dips below that level, you can buy it back in for that 10%. It does take a little bit of calculation and keeping up, but it's not really that hard. And at the least, you will actually significantly increase your stack after this bull run. And plus, you always have the last 10% that you're just hanging on to, just in case like Bitcoin suddenly goes to 1 million, which I'm pretty sure it won't all of a sudden. But if it does, you still have that last 10%. Now, for smaller coins, I don't know if I would include VeChain in this, but smaller coins, maybe like outside the top 25, I would still start selling 10% start selling 10% at the all-time high, but I would only sell 10% every 50% it increases, because for smaller coins, you're taking a greater risk, so you want a greater reward. And so smaller coins are much more likely to pump much higher than bigger coins, so you don't want to sell quite as fast. Something like VeChain, something like Holochain, if it ever actually works out, something like Nano, something like Yuga. These things will pump probably much harder than Bitcoin, XRP, Litecoin, Ethereum. So you want to have bigger separation between each 10% sell. So say like, VET, the all-time high was, what was it? The all-time high was, well, let's actually not use VET. Let's use Holochain. I forgot what the all-time high for Holochain was, but let's just say like the all-time high for Holochain was like half a penny. So you would sell 10% at half a penny, and then you would sell 10 more percent at 3/4 of a penny, and then 10 more percent at a penny, and go up like that. Because these smaller coins are very likely to go, some of the more successful smaller coins are likely to go, 25, 30, 40, 50x. And you want to get a good part of that. Once again, leave the last 10% in until you reach your money goal. So that is my goal, how I would cash out for smaller coins: 10% at the all-time high, and then 10% for every 50% it actually goes up. It's a very structured tier sellout strategy, and it will allow you to keep enough money to make a lot of money based on your original buy. And it also lets you buy in for more of that coin once it starts dropping, because in all likelihood, it's going to stop dropping. Like once you do these tiered sellouts, you don't really do your sellout plan by what ideally could happen. You have to do your structured sellout plan, but by what's most likely to happen. So keep that in mind. In investing, you want to invest according to what's most likely to happen, not what your best fantasy dream is, because that eventually just gets you wrecked. So that's the thing. That's the thing for right now. And if you wake up one day and then one of your small crap coins goes up 100, has already gone up 100x, like Agrita or something, you want to sell that immediately, because it's probably going to dump back down, especially if the rest of the market hasn't moved. If the rest of the market has moved, I would still sell like 70% of it and then keep the other 30% to actually see where it goes. for one of these small coins, if you see it go way up one morning, at least like sell out your original cash in value so don't lose it on the way down, or sell out like 5 times your original cash out value so you actually have profit to buy stuff. And then if it comes back down, you've already made 5x profit. So remember, always remember to take profits. But for like bigger coins, you want to sell out slightly faster. For smaller coins, you want to sell out slightly slower and having those increases. So that's how I'm going to cash out during the bull run. And let me know what you think. Are you going to take a variation of this plan, or are you just going to hold on until infinity, which is a very bad idea, by the way. So that is the news for today. Let me know what you think. Like and subscribe, and hit that bell notifications button, and join me on my daily streams. Thank you, and have a nice day.